Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of Channel Weekly Q&A. My name is Keith Lubner, managing partner, co-founder of Channel EQ. This week's question is really an interesting question because it's a very broad-based question that you really have to put some solid thought into if somebody were to ask you that question. I immediately knew the answer because if you've ever seen me give a keynote, you know based on this keynote that this is what I would answer. So let me give it to you. Here we go. Keith, what is your greatest life lesson? And I'll tell you right now, my greatest life lesson is that cancer made me a better business person. 31 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer when I was 17 years old. And what it taught me was many, many life lessons. At a time when friends were going out and exploring and having fun, I would drive myself every day into the city for cancer treatments. So I learned an awful lot in that entire journey over about 6 months about myself, but I also learned some really valuable lessons in life that absolutely changed my trajectory and lessons that every one of us could learn and take advantage of. So let me go back to when I first learned though about this diagnosis. It was it was a summer. It was actually right before school got out, and my parents were divorced, and I was at home in my bedroom, and both parents pulled up at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a school day, and which was very unusual because they were divorced. And the parents came in, sat down on each side of my bed, and they told me what was wrong. They told me that I had cancer. And the first thing I did, the first lesson was I got up, I walked over to the phone, I picked the phone up, I turned to them, and I said, "Who do we call?" I realized at that moment that attitude above everything else will win. Attitude makes or breaks you. And at that moment, the attitude was, this is not going to beat me. And it's what you need in sales. It's what you need in marketing. It's what leadership needs. It's that attitude. It's that mindset. That's the first lesson I learned. The second lesson I learned was perseverance because I had to drive myself every single day to the hospital to get my treatment and all the way back. And it was about 30 miles each way as a 17-year-old. So I learned if I want to overcome these things, I have to persevere. And the other thing I learned in addition to perseverance was grit. In that the only way you really succeed is through true grit. You're just going to get it done. You're going to find ways. And the fourth lesson I truly learned in this time period was empathy. I really understood what it felt like to be in other people's shoes. And I learned this when I would sit in getting my treatments and I would look over at some of the real little kids, and I knew what they were going through, and I felt for them, and I can get into their shoes. And if there's one trait that you're really looking to conquer or to get in, within you, it's empathy. It works in sales, it works in marketing, it works in every single aspect of your life. If you can understand the other person's point of view, you will entirely be successful. So sometimes our greatest challenges become our greatest assets. Thank you for the question. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And if you ever see me give a keynote, you'll hear even more of that compelling journey in my life. Thank you and take care.